Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trae Holiday, and I'm so excited every time I get to sit down with my brother, Sean Goode of Choose 180. What's up, bro?
Happy Monday morning to you, sister.
Oh, always great to be with you. And you know what? You're bringing in the good news today on this gloomy Monday. You're brightening it up in here with the sunshine that you're bringing. Let's dive right in. And for the folks that don't know, we'll start with what Choose 180 is before we get into your press release today.
Yeah. Choose 180 is a nonprofit organization that works to transform systems of injustice while supporting the young people who are too often impacted by those systems. And we do that by partnering with folks like prosecutors, superintendents, law enforcement to change the way they administer justice to cause less harm while co-creating programming that helps mediate the harm that they've caused by their institutionally racist practices.
Wow, deep always. And so you your whole team at Choose 180 has really created something that is, I really hope, to become a trend, particularly in Black-led organizing, but you're right, for all organizing. Let's talk about this press release and you guys having now this threshold of $70,000 for all employees.
Yeah. Well, first let me say that, we aren't the first to do work like this. There's organizations like Creative Justice, Collective Justice, Freedom Project, King County Equity Now, others that have already set a baseline of paying folks at a livable wage. So I want to pay homage and honor where honor's due to say that we weren't first out the gate, and all of those organizations really inspired us to consider what we could do organizationally. And as I mentioned in the Seattle Times piece, when it was first brought to me, I wasn't like, yeah, let's do this, let's make it happen, right? My business mind was like, we already pay market rate or above market rate for these nonprofit jobs. It sounds good. I'd love to pay everybody 70, but how can we do it? And it was when I was challenged by one of our directors who said, look, we constantly are talking about the living conditions that young people are living in and how we need to change those material conditions to offset the impact of this disease of violence. And until we uplift folks out of those conditions, we're really limiting our impact. And could it be possible that we're resourcing our very own team to live in those same very conditions, effectively doing really good things with our right hand and then offsetting all of that good with our left by the way that we're supporting the people who are doing the work day in and day out for our cause? And so when that hit me, it became less of can we do this and more of when can we do this? Because it had to be done for the sake of the collective cause and is an effort to be able to put this out here that, look, this is just a first step of many steps that need to be taken on this journey to wage equity and economic justice. But let this be a step that we're taking today and doing it publicly to encourage others to do so as well.
Yeah, I think that the making it very front facing and public is kind of where, I see that that's a bold move too, because honestly, I love the fact that there are other nonprofits that are doing similar work, that are looking at how they're paying employees, particularly and I'll say this, in the nonprofit sector. And it is because we understand that oftentimes social justice work is not 9-to-5 work. This is lifetime work. As somebody who's in it, I'm working 24/7, it feels like oftentimes. And I have to think about that and always have a solid balance. And so I know that a lot of times it's about the whole benefit package. So it's not just the income. It's also now how are we caring for our employees with their health benefits? How did you guys incorporate this kind of holistic approach in what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's changed. We always offered full medical, vision, dental. We've always had tuition reimbursement. We even have a healthcare stipend so people can spend that allotment of money towards a healthy living practice every month. And in addition to paid time off and sick leave and all those other traditional benefits. So all that is still enveloped and embodied in this. And Trae, one thing I think it's important that we call out is in that list of nonprofit organizations that I mentioned, all of them have one thing in common. They're all led by Black folks or brown folks and are all serving people along the margins. And if we, as Black and brown led nonprofit organizations in Martin Luther King Jr. County, in the wealthiest country in the world and one of the wealthiest states in the world, we can do it, then I think there's a challenge to be put out to the white-led nonprofit organizations that employ a great majority of Black and brown folks who are working in these spaces that are woefully underpaying them, so much so that they are bordering on the same lines of poverty that the people that they're serving are. I think regularly about the sheer number of unhoused neighbors that we have in our community today. And what that speaks to most profoundly is that there was that many people who were one paycheck away. And when that one paycheck went away, They had no place else to go but the sidewalks and streets that are in our neighborhoods. And so if we're paying people so they could be one paycheck away, how much are we encouraging folks to be borderline homeless and housing unstable? We have to do better as those that have experienced it. And we have to encourage those that are farther away from that impact to see this lived experience and let them understand that this isn't just a good practice out of a place of generosity. This is a human right.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you know what? This is exactly why I appreciate every time you come on, because the way that you articulate exactly what you're here to do or speak about and make sure people understand is very, very specific to you. And one of the things that I love so much is every time you're on, Sean, you make a point to talk about your amazing wife. Hold on, we got a clip right here. We want to make sure you guys understand how much Sean Goode loves his wife.
I'm celebrating 10 years of being married this year. You know I was going to slip in my wife somewhere, man. You know it's going to come in sometime. But like one of the things I tell people is like the energy I came into my marriage with is the same energy I show up with every morning. You know, she asks the same question every day. She says, how did you sleep? And I say, next to an angel. I've been saying the same answer for 10 years plus now, and it's that same energy.
We love it.
Well, since you created the space for it, here we go.
Yeah.
Converge family. This is a special and important one today. My wife is out of town in Montclair, New Jersey with their folks. They're navigating some health concerns and issues. And I'm all the way out here, and it is killing me to be all the way out here right now because I so desperately want to be on the other side of the country with my bride. But I'm asking you, please lift up our family in your prayers because she is the most amazing woman in the world. She is a celestial being. She is my gift from God. She is my favorite part of every day that ends in Y. And she is so far away tending to the needs of her parents right now. And those prayers and it could absolutely be an affirmation for this moment that we're going through together as a family. So Converge family, I appreciate you. Oh, I appreciate you putting that on, and trust and believe we could use that in this time.
You know what? You'll definitely be getting it from me, all the love and positive vibes and energy. You know, one of the things that you said before, I had to make sure I made that segue because we love how you show. Look, I'm going to tell every man out there right now, you can learn a thing or two from how Sean Goode dotes on his wife, okay? You never get tired of that as a wife. I promise you that. But one of the things I want to say is that you're absolutely right to put that call out to all of these other nonprofit organizations and for-profit. I always think about the fact that what we're dealing with right now is people making so many adjustments because life has become unlivable for so many folks. I mean, just this weekend, I'm in California and we're passing by these amazing decked out vans. And then somebody's like, oh my God, do you not know about van life? And I'm like, whoa, like, there's people that have made adjustments to say, you know what, I can deck out my van and I can have a stove in here. I can have my little hidden kitchen. I can have my hideaway bed. There are people that have made living adjustments because they are not making livable wage incomes. And Omari and I talk often about the homeless or houseless population and say, it's not about what the stigmas are out there. We have a lot of working poor people. And so this is really a testament to so many different industries who would not be what they are without the labor. So I love how you put that out there.
Well, thanks, Trae. You know, I wear this sweatshirt today on purpose, right? I remember what it was like to show up to the store with that little card, right? Have to break out that book of color money, right? And be put on blast at the cash register when you had to go pick up some groceries for your family, right? I remember my mama. She wasn't that she didn't work hard, but because of the situation she was born into, she was working 2 or 3 jobs all the time to provide for us, right? And we still had to use that strange change at the cash register, right? Now that was my mother's experience somewhat 30 plus years ago at this point, right? And now people are having those same experiences today. And if we look at what's happened, at the cost of living in our community has gone up in some respects upwards of 50%, and wages have not followed that trend. So this isn't a matter of like, well, how do we do something good that makes sense? It's a matter of how do we do something necessary that helps people live? We can't watch the cost of gas skyrocket, the cost of bread, milk, and eggs skyrocket, and not be responsible as stewards of organizations to not do the same thing in kind. And I want to be clear, this isn't a call out to nonprofit organizations. It's an invitation. And it isn't a call out to nonprofit funders. It's an invitation. If we believe in the social good that we aspire to do, that social good has to start right within our own walls and extend out from there. I've been guilty of it. I'm doing my best to repent in a public way and making sure that moving forward, we are going to do all we can to reduce that level of harm and hold others accountable to doing the exact same thing. But it's absolutely an invitation. Come join us. be a part of this movement to get folks to 70.
Oh man, be a part of the movement. You guys, I'm so inspired every time I get to sit with you, bro. And honestly, I love the call out. I love the invitation. I love this invitation because that is what's necessary. I think sometimes people have to see it in action and know that they too can do it. And this is a part of the philanthropic community. When we talk about funders understanding what it is they're funding, it can't just be, sometimes it does have to be unrestricted funds so that they can be about salary and really having these kind of base levels. You guys have done it in a really public way. Kudos to all of you guys over at Choose 180 for what you're doing. If folks want to get connected with Choose 180, I always got to give you a last few minutes here to make sure that people understand how to get connected with you. Maybe there's people that are running nonprofits and they really have questions about how you achieved this amazing feat.
Absolutely. Well, you can follow us at I Choose 180 on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. You can hit me up if you have specific questions on the business side of it or the executive leadership side of this. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. You can find me there, Sean Goode. My name's not like complicated and it's unique enough that you should be able to find me. And I'm really, really responsive. And Trae, before we transition segment, I just want to make one more important distinction. Absolutely. Okay. At the city level and at the county level, historically, we get a ton of grants and resources from those spaces. But if you look at the economics of it, you have people at the city and county that are making at times $30,000 to $40,000 more doing like work that they're then offloading to the community to do at far less the wage. And so essentially what the county and the city are saying is that if we can pay somebody else to do this work for less, then we don't have to in-house it. It releases a burden of us to be accountable to the work as well as the resources to work at a level that's sustainable. And then we can give it to some of these organizations so they can do the grassroots thing. That mentality and ideology is deeply problematic, and it's rooted in a white dominant philosophy that nonprofit work is charity work and that we're just doing it for the betterment of others. If you look in the book, The Color of Money, it clearly outlines that the Black middle class is largely comprised of people who are in the service industry. And that's not service as far as like restaurants, et cetera, but that's social service industry. Folks that are working at hospitals, folks that are working inside of nonprofits. Our middle class is sustained by work like ours, and we have to begin to resource it as though that's true. And so furthermore, right, I can talk about this at no end. You know how I get when I get excited about something, Trae, but I want to make sure there's clear distinctions here. Invitations to our nonprofit leaders, let's do this. To our nonprofit funders, let's do this. The county and the city, as you apply that anti-racist lens and you've adopted the reality that racism is a public health issue, let's make sure that you're not unintentionally contributing to the spread of the disease of racism by the way you're resourcing nonprofit organizations to do this labor on behalf of the funding that you're contributing to our causes.
Oh my God. And mic drop. Seriously, I'll say this because you just opened it up for me, man. The truth of the matter is that everything you're saying is pure gold. I find that oftentimes it is people that are experiencing exactly what you're describing that have to be the ones to speak out and hold their truth. There are county workers, executive workers, there are city workers that know exactly what you're talking about, that are perpetuating this, that are the ones sitting there getting six-figure incomes, and they're just working alongside community to spread the funding. And ultimately, we see it time and time again where they're like, well, in order for us to really do this well, we need to connect with nonprofit organizations. We need to connect with the constituents you guys are working with. We need to connect with your networks. I see it time and time again. And I was one of the people that like raised my hand in one of these meetings. I said, I gotta be honest with you. You guys are telling us in some cases, depending on how the funding comes out, to front load the bill. You guys will reimburse us as a nonprofit, but only at so much. And in order for us to even participate in the spreading of certain funds, we have to have certain amounts of money in our bank account. We have to show a certain balance sheet. So the ideas of the barriers that are built into these systems are real. And ultimately, if not enough of us that experience this are speaking out against it, they will continue to perpetuate. So I love that you called it out. I am a firm proponent of what you're talking about. I've experienced it myself. And I found that I was in as soon as I said something, a bunch of more people said something.
Yeah.
But sometimes they need that one person to be like, you know what? Wait a minute. We're not gonna scramble for these
Come on.
funds, and we're not gonna beat each other down
Come
for
on.
these funds because of the way that you guys are putting certain things out there. You have to be the ones that are held
Come
accountable
on.
for the entire system in the process.
Yeah.
So the more that we all are waking up to this, exactly what you're describing, the more that we're gonna really see change that is sustainable, that's ever changing and everlasting, and that we are providing really livable wage incomes for folks and elevating their material conditions, man. Sean Goode, always amazing to have you with us.
Thank you, sister. You look good in that Choose 180 hoodie, by the way.
Hey, you know what? It's feeling nice and right. It's nice and comfortable. Y'all did a great job on these hoodies.
Thank you, sister.
Well, you know what, you guys, I always get inspired when Sean Goode comes on the scene. Honestly, he's one of the people that's out here, not just professing about the work, but he's always there. Anytime I call on Sean's like, what's up? What we need to do. And the truth of the matter is that's what it really takes. And this effort right here of a threshold of 70,000 for all employees at Choose 180 is just one of the ways they're doing it. You heard about the benefits package. You always hear him come with such a magnificent message to all of you. And I encourage you guys out there to pay attention to this. Take that invitation to all of you who have an opportunity to be impactful in this way. Please take that invitation that Sean Goode provided for you today. And you guys too can be a part of the solution, just like Choose 180 is. Coming